Let's get some sleep. No?
Nope.
Me neither.
Calvin took the red eye. Anybody else?
You did, huh? Did you fly back with Jerry? No. Oh.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. When you look at the trade acquisitions and the guys who are coming back from their health issues, do you look at the next 7 weeks or so as this might be a new season for us, and maybe we can make a push on a couple of things?
Well, I mean, I'm excited about the acquisitions and the guys were getting healthy, but you know me, I'm going to look at it each and every week and truly take it one step at a time. Each championship opportunity is different, and but watching the game last night, there were a lot of things certainly to be excited about. You know, the way the defense, played, the just general play style, the way they affected the quarterback. It was great to get some snaps for Vaughn. Thought Kalen Carson played terrific. Really, proud of him and his journey and what he's had to do. And it was good to see Demo out there running around. And then, of course, what Quinnen adds to the inside of the pocket, but also from a leadership standpoint, just the type of man he is very exciting.
Of the Jets win and this one with kind of blowouts, would you say this was more of a complete game than that one?
Yeah, I think, there's things you take from both games, that were highlights and things. Again, I think the time of possession in this game was important. It's something we wanted to do. We wanted to possess the ball, and defense created some really good 3-and-outs. I thought the fourth quarter was a fun quarter because, we were able to, get the safety and then run a bunch of time off the clock to kind of put the game away. I thought that was really, really good. But all in all, I thought it was really complimentary football at what it should be.
Couple of questions. Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys, and how you doing?
I was confused because I thought you weren't going to say who you were, but you're good. Yeah, go. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm a little tired. But it's okay.
Okay.
We're all tired together. So
that's right. Speaking of tired eyes.
Oh, tired eyes. Yeah.
Speaking of tired eyes.
Yeah.
A few media members, fans, it seemed like the players didn't know what the hell was going on that onside kick punt. Yeah. Was there confusion on the sideline as well?
There was. Yeah, there was. That's one of the things we actually talked about this morning. We got to clean up. It took us a minute. I was begging Brad Allen for a little bit more time. I was like, hey, Brad, they just told us this. But I got to say, I've never seen that. And so we're getting comfortable with it, but it's something that definitely it caught us off guard a little bit.
Just in how it transpired, could they have caught the ball even though it didn't go 10 yards because Pickens caught a fair catch but let it bounce? Could they have really just caught it as an onside?
Yeah, again, it's a unique thing. I think the best thing there is for us to call the fair catch and catch it in the air. And I haven't talked to GP about it, but yeah, that's the best way to handle it. But literally, it was right in front of me, and I got caught looking at it. It was like I didn't think it was ever going to come down. Right. But that's the way it was supposed to play out, but we need to definitely make some adjustments to make sure we're ready for that in the future.
Let it bounce, and it's anybody's ball.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how far it goes.
Correct.
Is there anything there are people that are not beating a team with a winning record? Is that important? You have a stretch now of 3 games with teams with winning records. Really want to build on what you have. You have to jump over a hurdle you haven't jumped this year. Yeah.
I think all teams in this league are good. I think, you look at, Vegas and, they've had teams on the ropes and, they're a good football team. And, again, I think each team is different. Each game is different. And, there's injuries factor into different things. But, I don't get caught up in records just because, again, you can't predict how things are going to play. And if you would have told me Kansas City was sitting with the record that they have, does that mean they're not a good football team? No. Does that mean that, that Vegas isn't a good football team? No. It means they haven't found a way to win. And so we found a way to win yesterday, which is great, and that's what we have to continue to do. And the only way to do that is to win. And that's why I think that getting that victory coming off the 2-week layoff was important for us.
Brian Schottenheimer with ESPN. Physically, how do you get your guys ready for this stretch of 3 games in such a small time?
Yeah, we'll do all the different things that we do, with the, getting these guys back healthy, the things, where they're using the, hot tub, cold tub therapies, massages, all that stuff. We've got a bunch of protocols in place for that. We'll do a lot of walkthroughs. There'll be some full speed running, but not a lot, not as much as you normally do. So the meetings have to be really, really good. The walkthroughs have to be really, really good, because right now we're in a position that we have to get their bodies back, but we also have to get our mental, our minds right to play the game and to play well. And I talked a little bit last night and through the week about, I thought we did a good job of having a very tight plan. We know Philadelphia pretty well. They know us pretty well. So we'll have a tight plan, but, maybe a few more wrinkles just because we know them. Whereas Vegas, it was the first time we were playing them and, didn't have a great feel for exactly what they wanted to be necessarily on defense against our offense. So biggest thing is just maximize everything we do. I was real big last week on take one thing at a time. There was a lot of distractions, a lot of things going on, and I want our guys to focus on the next meeting, the next workout, the next practice, the next meeting. And I thought they did a good job of that.
A young team, does it take a certain amount of maturity to be able to realize you might not get all the on-field stuff you would normally get, and make sure you're still doing everything and be ready for Sunday?
Yeah, and I do think, Todd, that's where a lot of the veteran leadership guys, anyone in this locker room that's been here knows what this schedule kind of feels like. It's what we're used to in terms of, you play a game and not necessarily a Monday game into, Sunday, then a Thursday, and then another Thursday. That's a little bit unique. But again, the veteran leaderships and the guys that have been here are instrumental in also carrying that message to the young guys.
One of the things Parcells used to say his job was to provide perspective to his team and where they are and where they need to be. Do you take an overarching view yet of where things are in the division as you start playing these guys a second time, as well as looking at the rest of the conference yet?
Yeah, I do. I focus, again, during the course of the week. I talk about what it's going to take to play well that week and to give yourself the best chance to win. Strange things happen. We all play each other down the line, meaning division games. We play, Minnesota. We play teams that are going to be potentially in the race for the playoffs. And, but again, I don't get caught up in, hey, now guys, hey, we have to win and we have to get to this many wins or that many wins. I just don't believe in that. I think you kind of take your eye off the prize. And my belief, not saying I'm right, is that, your focus is best served in the moment. And that's what I believe, and that's how we'll move forward.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Dak was talking yesterday about Ryan Flanoy and how consistent he's been since he's entered the building, and it's why he's had these opportunities. Just from your perspective, Ryan Flanoy just continuing to ascend on the depth chart, how is he continuing to impress you guys?
Yeah, Rye is a small school guy that, we saw the talent, we saw the strength, the body control, the ability to run after the catch. But again, Nick, it's his work ethic, man. This guy's learned every position. You can put him at X, F, Y, Z, doesn't matter. He can play them all at a high level. That's a lot of confidence that gives Dak and the coaching staff when we're putting together the plan and different personnel groupings and how we want to use people. But again, I think he's proven to himself that he belongs at this level. Sometimes it takes guys from a small school to actually go out there and to play well and to do it. But he's playing with a ton of confidence right now, and you saw it on the touchdown. It was an excellent route, and he's just so strong, man. People don't realize, if you haven't been up around Flo, just how strong he's built. Just his size, and that's why he's a tough match for a lot of these corners.
And for CD and George, after that first drive, how have you seen them really embrace the accountability aspect, not just in the game, but in the facility today, just being able to take that on the chin? Yeah,
the bottom line was, look, I talked to our guys all about accountability, not just, those two. And, again, we had great conversations and real conversations. And I think I said last night, at the end of the day, I love those guys, and the energy that they brought is real. But, they're not the only ones that we're going to hold accountable. I'm going to hold myself accountable when I make mistakes, and hold people accountable when they do great things, and that's just kind of the culture that we've built here. And so I think, those guys have shown how much they love this team, how much they love playing the game, and how much fun they have doing it, and doing it at a very, very high level. And that speaks volumes about them.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. Those last couple of games going into the bye, Dak was getting hit a lot. Last night, only sacked once. I think he's only hit 4 times. How would you evaluate the way your offensive line played?
Yeah, very good. They threw a lot of different things at us. I talked a little bit last night. Someone asked me about Max Crosby and what a great player he is, but I thought the offensive line played very good. Point Terrence Steele out. Thought he played very, very, very well. But I thought in general it was one of our better games up front from a run protection or a run game pass protection standpoint. And we always want to try to keep Dak, clean and upright, and I think that helps all quarterbacks. But again, I do think that we did a good job on both sides of the ball last night of owning the line of scrimmage.
And then on the defensive side, Donovan Ezraku was a huge sacks production guy at Boston College, and what he's been able to do against the run has kind of been flourishing more this year than the sacks have. What did you see out of him back at his college tape as a run defender, and how have you seen that aspect of his game grow at the professional level?
Yeah, Tommy, the ability to set the edge, number one, he's got great length. So he uses length, which is great, and then he's got a great ability to disengage. So if he sets the edge based on where the ball is going to go, he's got the ability to disengage, to go into the C gap or hold the edge. He uses length really well. He's really strong through his lower body, which allows him to control blocks against tight ends and tackles sometimes on the edge. And he's very, very, very football smart and very good feel for understanding the game. Football instincts, I think, are top notch, and that showed in the interview process with him, being around him. But I'm not surprised how well he's playing, really on all three downs.
Scott. This is Scott Dixon with the AP. Dak's made it clear that the numbers aren't a big thing to him, but you're probably aware that there's all kinds of milestones kind of floating around with him. There's a big one this week potentially with career passing yards. Tony's the franchise leader. He could take that. I just wondered your view on numbers like that. Do they be celebrated, commemorated, or are they just kind of something that doesn't matter when you compare it to wins?
Well, as the head coach, I think you definitely have to, focus on the wins. I mean, I honestly did not even know that he was in position to break a record. You said this week? That shows you that I don't get caught up in the records. He's obviously not walking around talking to me about it because his focus is his football team. And again, if we do what we're capable of doing, I believe he will, achieve that milestone. But again, I know what he really wants, and it's not his name individually in the record books. It's his name, collectively with this group of young men, his teammates, his brothers, doing something much, much better than just having individual accolades.
And having been around him a few years, with him in the midst of those, how do you kind of look at where he is in this franchise, how important he's been to the franchise, and just more than him just as a player, just as a guy for this franchise?
Yeah, I think he's invaluable in so many ways that he just, what value he adds to this team, from leadership, from accountability, from he holds himself more accountable than maybe anybody. He's the first to say, hey, I messed that up. I screwed this up. Hey, I got to be better. You love that about, your leader and one of your best players. The confidence he exudes, the way he's, teaching and leading some of these young guys. A great example would be Ryan Flournoy. What he's done investing in Flo, I think is really cool, because they work a lot together after practice. They're always constantly talking. He's kind of built that with CD and George, but he realizes, okay, hey, Flo's a very talented young man, but he's still young and he's still learning the game, and Dak goes out of his way. And, we've had a few more player-led meetings the past 2 weeks, just kind of wanting these guys to be able to talk football a lot. Sometimes it's good for the coaches to get the hell out of the way and let these guys that have to go step in between the white lines and do things together. Do that. We've done that both on offense and defense, and Dak certainly is very involved running that, but I'm not in there. I stay out of there. But my feedback from talking to the guys who have been in there is it's great feedback, and they work out the kinks on certain things, which I think is invaluable for us in this game and moving forward.
Yeah.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You talked about Caitlin Carson's journey. He was the only guy that played 100% of snaps on defense last night. Obviously, he comes in as rookie, starts the season over, injuries, waits his turn this year. How difficult is that for a young corner? And then what did you see from him in terms of being able to step right in and kind of have that role?
Well, I think it's very difficult when you listen to all the different things he's had to go through. I mean, even this year coming back, he had issues and things he was dealing with, but we've been tough on Kalen in a good way because we've seen the talent, we've seen the upside, we've talked to him about his urgency, and hey, let's pick up the urgency in the meetings, and let's the command of what we're trying to do, and we got to see that out there on the field, and he's done that, Joe. I mean, he's been awesome, and so this has been building for a couple weeks now, to where we were like, okay, we see the light kind of turning on, and I was not surprised at all with the way he played last night and the competitiveness and the way he challenged the ball. I thought the play right before the end of the first half when they kicked the field goal against Bowers, tough matchup, right? Really, talented tight end, size-wise, played it perfect. Looked back at the ball and did not, commit a foul. And I think when you're talking about young players like that, when they go out and they play well, they have to stack it, right? And they have to go and they have to do it again. But don't forget, which he won't, don't forget what got you to play well. It was the urgency. It was the things that we were challenging him on that he's taken ownership of. And I think that's really cool.
We've talked with Jerry a lot about George Pickens, his potential future here, and he's shown interest in potentially paying 2 receivers like that elite money. Just from your perspective, what do you think about George Pickens as a potential long-term guy here now that you've had him for 10 games?
Yeah, sign me up. I mean, what do you say? Those two guys, I love their relationship, man. I love the firepower that they give us. That's, one of those games where, you never know which one it's going to be. Some games it's both of them. Some games it's one of them. Again, like I said, I pinch myself at times because it's like you're talking about when you're Dak or you're the play caller, myself, you're like, okay, well, if we do this, well, which way do I throw it to? I like that matchup. Wow, that one's pretty good too. Like, that's real, and so, I'm very in favor of George having a long-term future with us here in Dallas.
Brad
Sham, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. Brian, given barring unforeseen complications, dangerous thing to say, how many more guys who are either on IR or the practice squad do you think you would like to find a way to get on the 53?
Yeah, I think we're at 6 right now that we've done of our 8, so we have to be very selective of what we've done. But, again, there's a lot of really good names out there. And, again, you said it best. It's going to all depend on how these next couple weeks go, and hopefully we stay healthy. But if somebody breaks the chin strap and they're going to miss a little bit of time, you have to obviously make decisions to bolster your roster in that regard. But there's quite a few really good football players in that area. And we're watching them do their rehab, and they're busting their butts with Britt and trying to get back and get ready. And, we'll be ready to make those moves if we need to.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Hey, Brian. Dak, after last night's game, said, if we play like the way we played last night, we have the confidence that we could come out on top in any of these games. What do you feel like you guys have to do to kind of replicate that going forward, and what do you feel like clicked last night to allow you to play with that kind of overarching complementary football that Dak was talking about?
Yeah, again, I think you watch us, we go 3 and out. They kind of move the ball on us a little bit, but I think last night was probably the most poised I've seen our team in general in terms of just, it's just go play, man. 60 minutes, like, they played free. We've talked about that, Garrett, for a while. Like, I truly want these guys to go out there and play free and not get caught up in the score, whether we're up 17-3 or whether we're down 21-0, whatever it is. And, these games, when games get away or out of hand, a little bit like last night did late, it's not that way till late in the game. It kind of happens, but like these games are built to be close, and there's parity, and that's what the league wants, and that's why the game is so popular. But I think we just, again, we stay in the moment. We take one play at a time, one drive at a time. We realize that, we're going to score points, and then we're going to get stopped, and the defense is going to allow some plays, and hopefully they're going to get stopped, which they did last night. But I think there's a confidence that we have in one another. There's a confidence we have that we can find ways to win games. But the biggest thing that we did last night is I thought we played our most consistent football game as all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. Was it perfect? Nope, absolutely not. A lot of things we looked at were like, I got to clean that up, got to tighten that up. But I use the word a lot in here because it's real. We were the most consistent, probably, game that we've played all season long.
Nick.
Tyler Guyton was not credited with the pressure for the first time in his career. How have you seen him really stack games over the course of the last few weeks?
Yeah, trusting his technique, really doing a good job with his hands, his feet. It's a tough position to play, especially for a young player. And I think you're seeing Tyler right now have a lot of confidence in the fact that he can dictate the tempo of his sets to take control of rushers and things like that. But he's also doing a really good job in the run game of getting movement at the point of attack. And I think, the more he and, Tyler Smith play together, the better that will be. But, again, I see him growing in his approach to practice. I would say if you talk to me about, Tyler, certainly late last year, maybe even early this year, the practice tempo was good. It's good. But was it where it should be at elite level? And I'd say probably if you would ask me that early in the season, I probably would have said no. He's figuring it out. And it takes these guys sometimes a while to figure it out, but that's what I know I'll be pushing with him is look at how confident you're playing because you're practicing well. So in your mind, you go up into game day and you're like, yeah, I've done this all week. I've had a good week of prep instead of, oh, hey, I didn't have a great week of prep. And I think that's important.
The young guys who are the best practicers.
Who are the best young practicers? Wow. Donovan Ezeraku jumps out at me as a really good practicer. Brevin Spawn Ford is a really good practice player. There's a lot more. Those are the first two that came to mind. Again, I'm going to mention Kalen Carson again. I think he's learning the urgency that it takes. Vaughn, you saw that yesterday. He plays the right way. He wants the matchup against George and CD and things like that. And, but as a whole, again, I say it all the time. Practice is what has to separate us from the rest of the league. And we have more and more guys, I think, that are buying into that.
Would you say this stretch that you got coming up, next 3 to 15 days, that however you handle it, that will tell you a little bit about whether or not you can achieve your goals?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, starting with this one. We're playing, a really good football team in Philly and, defending champs and, one of the teams I really respect. I respect the way they play and, they're very talented. They're well coached. And so, we look forward to this matchup and then, play that one and then play another team, a team that was matched up against them, last year in February. And, again, we'll find out a lot about ourselves. But I'm the guy that wants to play the good teams. I want to play the good teams and find out where we truly are. And I do think that it's fair. The question's fair. We'll know a little bit more in the next, whatever it is, 12 days, 11 days, kind of where we stack up in the league. And I think we'll answer that question in a very positive way.
The guy can get an award.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I kind of do. I don't know if he is. I'd give him an award. I mean, it was a pretty good acting job. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
The other competition is going, try to unseat him for the.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff, man. I'm on the sidelines. They're in between the white lines, man. I just call the plays, let them execute it.
Todd.
How to Overshown grade? You got 31 snaps. Was that kind of the plan going in, or was it related to how the game played out, where you guys didn't have to play him as much?
No, that was kind of the number. We were right in the range, and I think he did a good job. He was moving fast out there, had bad eyes on a couple of plays, but the speed and athleticism makes up for a lot of things, and it was just great to see him out there running around, having fun, and tracking guys down on the sidelines was so cool to see. But he did fine. And but that was the plan, and we were right in that sweet spot of 30 to 35 reps.
Do you see rotation between those four guys? I mean, I know you don't play your base a bunch, but
yeah, we're going to roll guys through. Again, we're all about competition, but again, because Demo was on a pitch count, they gave us a chance to see some more of those guys, and again, I think it'll get solidified here just these next couple weeks as we get going, and Demo comes off the pitch count. But yeah, I mean, I think we want to rotate guys and get guys experience. I mean, Shamar James is another guy that played well yesterday, had a bunch of tackles, and talented young player that we're excited about.
Patrick.
Hey, Coach. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. It looked like you guys parted ways with Damone Clark, but obviously you guys acquired Logan Wilson, who acquitted himself very well yesterday in his debut. But can you talk about just what you're seeing with younger guys like Shamar James and Maris Leofau that makes you confident to be able to make a move like that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to just really emphasize how much Damone means to me. What an incredible young man he is. In my conversation with Damone, I told him, I said, "Hey man, your career is just getting started. And sometimes change is good. I really do believe that. That's not bullshit. That's what I truly believe. But again, I think you have to handle things the right way, and this gives Moan a chance to find a home and get excited. But we've put a lot of resources into the linebacker room. Obviously K9 and Logan, and then drafting Shamar and Justin Barron's another guy that we really feel good about. But I love the youth of our football team. I really do. I love the youth of our football team, and I love not just their talent, but how hungry they are to learn from the veterans and to lean in the Jadeveon Clowneys of the world and the CDs of the world and the Jake Fergusons of the world. I think that shows you that these guys are the right type of guys. They're humble. They don't come in thinking they have all the answers. They want to learn from the guys that have been there and done that, and that hopefully will help them speed up their process into becoming winning starters at our level.
Quick follow-up to that. Now that you guys do have an available seat on the 53, where is Perrion Winfrey in his recovery?
Yeah, doing really good. Yeah, doing really well. And again, we'll see how things go, but I think that could be where you see that spot coming from.
Good.
Good. Everybody all right?
All right.
Thanks, guys.